Hi there, we're back to the workshop again. I'm going to show you some details about installing the rear wheel of the ETX3R. And this would be what you could do in reverse if you had to take the wheel out to change the tire or fix a flat. Okay. The wheel has a 3-speed hub here, a sprocket on the right side that meshes with the chain coming from the chain ring. Okay. We have a gap between this nut and the outer nut that the axle will fit into this dropout on this side, and a space here between this yellow non-turn washer and the inner washer that fits into the bottom bracket on this side. Okay, I'm going to turn the wheel this way and I'm going to move it up into position, and what you also notice up here is that I've released the brakes so that they spread the pads around. There's a quick release right here and I pushed it upwards. I'll show you what that looks like. There's the quick release closed, which is your brakes in the operational position, and this is a quick release released so you can put your wheel in or out between the brake pads. Okay, now I'm going to move over to this side here and I'm going to show you how to do this. First thing we have to do is lace the chain or wrap the chain around this sprocket. Okay, the shifter cable is right here and it's out of the way, and I'm going to lift this wheel up into this spot. I'm going to put the chain around that sprocket like that. Okay, now I'm going to lift the wheel up and I'm going to get these axles right into the dropouts, the axle nuts on this side. Over here you'll notice that the yellow washer is on the outside. Okay, going to make sure the chain is wrapped around the chain ring where it should be, just like that. Okay, and now I'm going to tighten these nuts here on either side. First hand tighten them, and then we're going to use the 15mm wrench. Tighten that one in. Okay, now I'm going to reach for my 15mm open end wrench. I'm going to move behind this and I'm going to push this wheel backwards with my left hand to make sure the chain is tight. Okay, and then I'm going to pull this back and tighten this nut. Okay, making sure the wheel is lined up, centered between the two chain stays here. Now I'm going to tighten the nut on this side. Okay, wheel's on and it's centered and the chain's nice and tight. The last thing we have to do is hook up the shifter mechanism. Okay? In the bag of parts that we received, we also got a shifter rod. It's got a shiny end on the outside and a dark end on the inside, and this actually slides into the axle like that. Okay, and as this goes in and out, that's what shifts gears for us. Now we have to hook the bell crank to that, which is this part. Here's a bell crank. All right, this is going to go over top of that and push on that shifter rod, and we're going to insert that all the way in up against the nut, and we're going to clamp it there with this 5mm screw. So we take our 5mm hex wrench and we tighten that on. Okay, just snug it up and it's there. When you screw in the 5mm securing screw to attach the bell crank to the hub, this screw will not screw all the way in until it seats against this. There'll be a little space between this 5mm screw and that bell crank case. That secures it against this, keeps this snug, but if you screw this in too tight, you can crack this case. So screw that in just till this is secure, but don't screw this screw in so far that you no longer have a space between these two parts. You can see the little space in there next to my finger. Okay? Now to check the shifter apparatus, we're going to look at this window right here, and we see a couple of yellow lines. We're going to go back up to our shifter. We're going to take our twist grip shifter, we're going to put it in gear number 2, right in the middle, and we're going to come back down here to this window, and we're going to look, and there has to be a yellow line inside between the 2 yellow lines on the window. Now keep your eye focused on that, and I'm going to shift to gear number 1. The yellow line disappears. There's number 2. There's number 3. So when it's adjusted properly, that yellow line will be between the 2 there. If this is not adjusted properly, there's a little adjustment screw right here, and you can turn this either way, and that will adjust this to put it in the right position. Okay? So that's the details of attaching the rear wheel. If you have to take this off to change the tire, you just do the reverse. Put it back on and then pump your tire. Okay? Pretty simple.